Oh boy, plenty of questions remain at key positions as we inch closer to the regular season for the Buffalo Bills. I'm Kevin Carroll alongside Andy Young. This is the Buffalo End Zone Podcast. And we're coming off a real dud that is leaving people a bit sick to their stomach as the Bills got roasted by the Bears once again during the preseason. I think there's a bit of overreaction possibly going.
Yeah, I mean, it's preseason football. It's often bound to be ugly. And when you had the Bears with their starters in and the Bills only played two starters at all in Joshua Palmer and Cole Bishop, you're at a little bit of a disadvantage there. But it was a little concerning once the Bills' second and third team guys were matched up with the Bears' second and third team guys. It didn't go any better for the Bills. Offensively, defensively, too many penalties, miscues, dropped passes, a long touchdown allowed. And Sean McDermott said that some of the guys that he wanted to see get an opportunity in that moment really didn't take advantage of it.
Yeah, some of it looked like they were kind of ill-prepared at times, Andy. I mean, the one thing that sticks out, and we'll get into Cole Bishop in a second because he's the big sticking point right now. He's the guy penciled in as the starter opposite Taylor Rapp, and now there are question marks because of his health. He hasn't been practicing all summer. He seems a step behind. He was dealing with a leg injury, Andy, so he's a step slower still. And then on top of that, on a play where he gets burnt, Damar Hamlin's effort to make a tackle then was something that the only way I could describe it is you would see like the first week of freshman football when they're teaching you how to tackle. The effort just didn't seem to be there. And that's the big question right now is Sean McDermott is being kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Mysterious in his wording on they're still looking for a safety to start opposite Taylor Rapp.
See, I didn't find that mysterious at all. I found it very telling that he said at this point in the preseason, we are still looking for that guy to play next to Taylor Rapp as a starter. They love Taylor Rapp. He'll be the starting safety, one of them. But then you look at how Bishop has performed, not being available, and what's one of the things Sean McDermott always says, availability is just as important sometimes as ability.
Right.
And then once he gets out on the field, it was not his best performance by any means in his series and then a little bit more into the second series against the Bears. Now, the play you're referencing, he gets beat on the inside. He's covering the slot, and the guy takes it the distance.
Yeah.
He's behind the guy.
That's when I shut the game off.
Hamlin misses the tackle. Ole on that wasn't great. And then the other thing that I think, looking at some of the All-22 film that was out there, Joe Andreessen wasn't in the right place either.
I was going to save Joe for later, but Joe, I was vocal by myself on the couch. I kept going, Joe.
Right.
Joe, come on, dude.
And Sean McDermott said that wasn't Joe's best game.
Yeah.
But he knows, looking back at what he's capable of and what he can be, and they're okay with him in that backup role. Now, Bishop, they also said, look, he's a guy that we know has the skill set and the ability to do these things. It's just about putting it on the field. But right now, of anything that concerns me about this Bills team, it's the safety position, number one. Because Damar, we know what he is, but they were looking for something more, which is why you draft a guy like Bishop,
right?
Why you want him to be the guy. But Bishop has not been either available or performing up to the standard that they need. And then you have Damar there, who probably is right now the third safety. Then you're looking at a rookie, Jordan Hancock, who it was telling to me, it was important to note in what Sean McDermott said that he really flashed in some time when he came in for Cole Bishop. And I think they're giving him a long look at that safety job. But then he bangs up his shoulder in the game, and he has to leave.
And McDermott says he's likely not playing this weekend in the final preseason game.
Right.
But the better news is the way that came out is that he just made it sound like he's going to miss this weekend and maybe be back in the fold when they get back out there next week. If you're Cole Bishop, are you concerned right now that this job that was basically given to you at the beginning of training camp this year, due to injury, you're so far behind right now? I mean, we've seen this with the Bills before. The guy that they brought in to be the number one guy gets passed by someone else, like Christian Benford.
It's what happened last year when Bishop got injured and there was a wide open safety competition, and DeMar Hamlin ends up taking the job and holds on to it through the entire season because Bishop got injured and was behind. I mean, there are going to be a lot of questions. There's heat from fans.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of talk on radio, articles written about what's going on with Cole Bishop, and he's got to get to that level, and he's got to perform. Look, second-round pick, it's only his second season. You're not going to call this guy a bust yet, but I think there are real concerns that he hasn't risen to that level just yet for a variety of reasons.
I'll take the Cole Bishop side.
Okay.
Dealing with an injury, lower body, was literally just ramping up practice-wise, leading to this game against the Bears. Limited reps out there, and you're not playing with who you would be playing with on the field, say, come week one when you're out there with Rapp and Christian Benford and Trey White and Matt Milano and Benford and those guys out there with you.
But no one should be basing their opinion of Cole Bishop on one series and a couple of plays in a preseason game. This is about a body of work and what the Bills are saying.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Sean McDermott doesn't ever not intentionally mention that they need somebody to step up at safety, right? If he thought we're good to go or didn't want to put the pressure on somebody to take this job, he would have just said, we're okay, we're working through some things, we'll be all right. The fact that he was as pointed about his comments that, hey, we don't have that guy yet, is a red flag. Hey, Cole Bishop, you listening? Step up. Somebody step up. Take this job. If people are thinking like Jordan Hancock, rookie, late round pick, had a shot to take this job, that's really problematic for Cole Bishop and the Bills' overall defense.
It's that time of year too, Andy, where players will become available that if you don't see on your roster right now, you have someone that you want to trot out there and be the guy who plays alongside Taylor Rapp. I don't know. That's part of what I took from what Sean McDermott was saying, was that we need to find a guy. When you don't say we need to find a guy on the roster and you leave this roster out of it, I think is telling too that if someone doesn't get their act together, we'll go look for someone.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who you're going to get, but you're right. Guys always shake free.
I already saw Jordan Poyer out there from Bills fans on social media. Time to bring Jordan Poyer back.
I mean, I saw some of that Saturday night as I was I hate even live tweeting a preseason game, but here we are. It's the world we live in.
Yep.
And I'm like, look, they let him go for a reason, right? Like, I'm not saying Poyer
and Gabe Davis
couldn't come play. We'll get to that.
I'm just kidding.
All right, come on. Here.
We'll save it for later.
Don't take it off the rails already.
I always do.
I know. But
put us on track.
I'll try. You threw me completely off track. We're talking about safeties here, not Gabe Davis. But I think fans getting all up in arms about Jordan Poyer, and it's a little premature. They've got a couple more weeks here. They got another preseason game. They'll figure it out. My best guess is they probably ride with Cole Bishop to start, and they see where it goes. Maybe Jordan Hancock comes back in, and he gets a shot. Cam Lewis back on the field, who's been reliable for them and has been a backup safety for them.
Yep. Also
out there. Derek Forrest, I kind of thought he was going to be that number 4 guy going into this training camp, and that hasn't materialized at this point. A veteran guy came over from the Commanders, had played and started games in this league, but that has not seemed to materialize in terms of the depth chart. I don't know if he ends up being in their plans, but, I mean, somebody's got to take the reins of that job because that's a quarterback of the defense. And, look, if your safeties are no good, you can have the best pass rush in the world and the best corners in the world. They're going to get beat from time to time, and you got to have the guy in the right place literally as your safety valve.
I would not, me personally, be pressing the panic button right now when it comes to the safety position just because of the fact that Bishop was dealing with it. And I get it. I know what Sean McDermott says. Best ability is availability, but it is what it is. How many guys were injured during training camp this year and missed time
A lot.
Give Bishop some time to get back up to speed.
Yep.
And, all this talk over the offseason was how him and Rapp were just glued to the hip during off-season work. They stayed in Buffalo to work out at the facility together. Mentally, I think they're good with each other, but Cole Bishop did look physically like he just wasn't there yet. And we all know what you have with Cole Bishop.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that we do know what we have with him yet. He's hardly played.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, is he good enough? I don't know. We'll find out. I mean, it's time to put your money where your mouth is and get out there on the field and do it.
And I mean, to move off Bishop just a little bit, the whole defensive backfield took their knocks. I mean, I think Dane Jackson's having a really rough go at it from watching him. Who knows what we're going to get now that we have Trey White opposite Christian Benford probably to start the season. He looked great during camp. He looked great during practice.
But it wasn't great in the game against the Giants. Yeah.
So what are we going to get when the season starts? So the whole defensive backfield, not just the safeties.
It's one safety and one corner that you have questions about, and they could be fine. We'll see. And over the years, McDermott's defenses have really maximized defensive back play, whether that's safeties, whether that's corners, minus Elam. But we're reaching that.
Forgot who he was.
Yeah.
Andy?
So, I mean, there is some concern there, but that defense can mask some of those guys. Think about how many different players they've revolved through that second cornerback spot. Now, they go out and get Max Hairston. He gets banged up right away. He's moving closer to returning, but Sean McDermott said that there's no clear timetable on when he'll be back. But we did see him, no crutches, riding the exercise bike, throwing the medicine ball, that sort of thing on the side today with a brace on his right knee. So that is a positive sign, but probably not ready to start the season, I wouldn't think. So they're going to have to ride with Trey White and whomever is the backup there, and then figure out the safety position as they go.
Now, most of the time when we go out to Bills practice, Andy, you're shooting the Bills offense. I'm over with the defense. I'd say that's like
probably 70, 80% of the time.
Yeah. What I saw for the first time that I've actually noticed today was Coach McDermott just eyeballing the defensive backs during their drills.
As he should.
On one knee, calling coaches over every now and then. I'm not going to speculate what they're talking about, but usually you see him over by the offense. Like, I know he makes his rounds around the field, but it was noticeable. He was just sitting there staring down these drills on how they were going and how the defensive backs looked. And I got to be honest with you, some of it was pretty rough.
Well, I mean, if we're talking about that being the big question and an obvious question, he sure as hell knows it is. He even said it. So,
right.
I mean, it is the question right now is that safety position, and then there's a couple of other things, and we'll get to receivers as well.
Yeah.
But that's the spot, right? That's the place where there are big question marks, and wasn't it perhaps one of the big things we talked about going into the offseason? It was, and it still has not sorted itself out yet. This happens all the time, though. We jump overboard and they don't have a starting lineup set before the third preseason game.
Yeah.
But the fact that McDermott did say that we don't have a guy yet, that means something to me.
Players got to get their act in gear. Somebody's got to step up, Andy.
Like you.
And you mentioned Joe Andreessen earlier and other guys on the defense. How about that young defensive line? I know no one really got into it today, but just to backtrack a little bit, I think McDermott said some of these younger guys played a little more than he was planning on them playing just to get more reps. And when you talk about the defense being overhauled, we talk about that defensive line to start with. Now defensive back has trickled into being the problem, and it looks like the defensive line is more settled.
Yeah, I mean, I liked some flashes that I saw out of all three of the young defensive linemen. I think that Landon Jackson had a better performance, and McDermott said that he thought so too from preseason game 1 to preseason game 2, that the defensive end out of Arkansas stepped up, and I thought that he looked better. TJ Sanders continues to flash good reps, whether that's in the pass rush or the run, and he's going to be really relied upon. I think he's at Oliver's backup, and he's going to see a lot of time given the way that they rotate their defensive tackles. And even big Deion Walker, maybe not so great against the run, which is a little problematic for a one-technique nose tackle, but does show that flash in the pass rush and actually got after Tyson Bagent, the quarterback for the Bears, and forced a fumble. Turned out that ended up being ruled an incomplete pass, but he got after it too. So those three guys are coming along. They've got to be ready to roll because we've talked about it several times with Hoyt and Ogunjobi, both suspended for the first 6 games. Those guys are going to play. So it matters. They've got to get up to speed. But I've seen enough to think that there's something there with all those guys in one way or another. Landon Jackson, probably a little less than the other two, has been splashy. But I thought it was an encouraging sign, his play in this past game against the Bears.
Talk about big question marks on the defense at the safety position. On the offensive side of the ball, it's the wide receiver position, once again, that you have question marks towards the back end. And McDermott even brings it up. We know who the starting 3 are. Coleman, Palmer, Shakir, once he gets healthy.
Yep.
After that, it's a crapshoot, Andy. And your guy, Elijah Moore, I mean, sometimes you watch during practice, he makes great plays. Other times, he's dropping balls. And then you have Curtis Samuel, who, okay, he came on strong at the end of last year and into the playoffs. He, like Bishop, has missed a ton of time during training camp.
Just like last year, like Bishop, again. They're like,
This guy's got to stop hanging out.
two sides of the same coin with those guys.
Right. And now he's back and was taking reps with the team.
Yeah, I mean, McDermott said it. We know who we've got at 1, 2, and 3, but who's 4, 5, 6, and 7, and what is the hierarchy there? And they have not sorted that out yet. I mean, you talk about Elijah Moore. He was one of the stars of practice Friday. That's why it's hard to ride the wave of every practice and every day and every game. You'll have flashes. You'll have moments. It's practice, right? Like, I just messed up talking, right?
You got to
like
practice.
You mess up sometimes. So to be like, oh, we have to pass this grand judgment on a guy every single day is tough. That's why you try to look at the overall body. But Moore was great in the joint practice against the Bears, and then he drops 2 balls that hit him in the hands as a starter in that game against the Bears, and that obviously is not good. Then you talk about Samuel. It's the same story with him as last season. All right, we like this guy. We know he has a past and a good skill set. Joe Brady got a lot out of him in Carolina, but he hasn't been able to get healthy and hasn't been able to stay on the field. Was encouraging, again, that he did participate in some 7-on-7 and some teamwork at practice today and actually flashed a couple of plays there.
He did indeed.
He had a couple of really nice plays. One was on like a bubble screen or a slip screen type of play, and shoo, he showed off that quickness and that ability to make a guy miss and move that the Bills coveted. And then you're talking about Tyrell Shavers, who just consistently plays what he's
fan favorite.
Yeah, plays how he's supposed to.
Gets open. I think Mike White maybe missed him on a perfect, which should have been a perfect play down the sideline during the Bears.
But he had the best catch in that game. He had like a 19-yarder as well. That was basically the Bills'
only catch,
only offense besides he and Frank Gore almost the entire game. So, and Shavers has been stepping up on special teams as well, which Sean McDermott again and again and again brings up when he's asked about these receivers. Okay, if you're not one of these top 3 guys, you've got to give us something on special teams, which Samuel doesn't really do. Moore can do some stuff in the return game, but that's not their first option, it seems.
Right.
But Shavers is playing those core 4 special teams right now. They're giving him a shot at that. The other dark horse, the wild card here, is Laviska Shenault, who they're giving every opportunity to win the kick return job and also putting him in at gunner on punt returns and in kickoff coverage, those sorts of things. So it's still got some time to shake all out here, but I don't think McDermott really knows what that hierarchy is, especially because guys have been banged up and in and out.
Yeah, it's hard to, like,
Oh, by the way, Shakir
Oh yeah.
has not had a setback, according to McDermott, with his recovery from a high ankle sprain. Did see him, no boot or anything on. He was doing the exercise bike and the medicine ball with Maxwell Harrison and some of the other guys today. And McDermott had previously said he didn't think this would leak into the regular season, so maybe next week we start to see Khalil Shakir.
Yeah, best to keep him on the side for a while
Right.
while this all ramps up. The other news, and who knows, Andy, while this is out there in the air, what might happen, but report that old pal Gabriel Davis is meeting with the Steelers and then after meeting with the Bills.
It's interesting.
And he was banged up, not brought back by the Jaguars. He was a guy that I thought performed well while he was here. He went out looking for more money. He got his money, but didn't perform well down in Jacksonville. It's interesting, since he's been out there as a free agent, I always thought that they would bring him at least back in to kick the tires on him to see how he's doing.
And it also brings up the interesting point of Brandon Beane went on WGR and said, basically like, you guys are all talking about wide receivers. Why are you talking about receivers? Well, this is why. We've reached a point where we're 2.5 weeks from the season, 2 weeks from the start of the season, and they don't know what their receiver hierarchy is yet. And they're talking about kicking the tires on Gabe Davis again, who I don't know where he fits, but if they don't like Moore or they don't like Samuel, they could bring Gabe Davis back. He was inconsistent, but he had those moments, right? 13 seconds.
Correct.
4 touchdowns, 200 yards, right? That was amazing.
That playoff game against the Colts.
Yeah, so he had his moments, but there were also stretches where he would have 0 catches.
And then he was unavailable in the playoffs a few seasons ago.
Right. So, I mean, if you need a guy and you think you can bring him in, and it's also good to kind of keep contact with him. Maybe he doesn't sign right now, but they check his health, they see how he's doing, and then they get into the regular season. One of these guys gets banged up. They don't like the way they're performing. They've done this before. Cole Beasley and John Brown both came back middle of a season when they were hurt. I would hope for the Bills that it doesn't get to that point, because that means either guys are really hurt or really bad.
Well,
Gabe Davis is someone who can play and has a rapport with Allen, so if you needed to slot somebody in, you could.
They still talk to each other all the time, Allen said. So
well,
stay in touch, right? You never know. I don't know.
He's also
it's his second meeting with the Steelers.
Yeah.
Steelers need experienced wide receivers. Does it even get to the point where it even matters with the Bills?
Well, I wondered, because he was going to meet with the Steelers again, if somebody in Gabe's camp also put out that he's going to meet with the Bills, drive up the urgency a little bit on the price tag for the Steelers to get something done too.
Smart thinking there. So we'll see how that plays out. When it comes to this final preseason game, Andy, it is what it is. It's guys trying to make one final good impression, see what's going on. I think Mitch Trubisky has basically locked up the backup quarterback spot.
I had some questions about that.
As much as I would even say, don't let Josh Allen play and don't let Mitch Trubisky play in the third preseason game.
The Mike White, Shane Buechele show.
Well, yeah, give them each a half.
Yeah.
You know, the other guys fighting for spots on here, those guys, Mike White was on the practice squad at the end of the last season, along with Shane, right?
Buechele got hurt.
That's
why they brought in. He hurt his neck, so that's why they brought Mike White in.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, to me, while Mitch Trubisky did not light the world on fire in that Bears game, Mike White showed me nothing at that juncture, and to make me believe that he has any shot right now of winning that job. I think Trubisky's the more reliable option, brings the added element of mobility that White doesn't necessarily have. I like White's – throws a nice spiral.
Right.
But I think Mitch has done enough to secure that job now through preseason, 2 preseason games and camp.
So what do you think we end up seeing against the Buccaneers?
You know, I go back and forth on this because part of me says, man, McDermott really didn't like the way they came out last game against the Bears. Let's get our starters out, give him a quarter or something. Let's get this thing rolling the right way. But the other part of me says, well, do we really need to? Have I seen enough in practice? And do we want to risk, when we're already kind of dealing with a lot of nagging injuries, risk any more of those going into the regular season? Probably not. So if I'm them, I probably don't run out the starters, but it wouldn't stun me if McDermott decides, hey, let's light a fire under these guys. Let's get our starters out there, get some juice, and then get them out of there as quickly as we can.
And I have to agree with you on that get that taste out of your mouth from the Chicago game. And I can't recall. I have a really good memory, Andy. Did Josh Allen play a series in the final preseason game last year?
I believe he did, because he
did, right?
He didn't play in the second game.
And there was, well, it's the third preseason game now. Why play him now? And McDermott went out and played him in that game. And I wouldn't be surprised if they end up doing the same thing with how bad the team has looked this preseason, to give them a better taste going into the regular season that, okay, we came out and we did execute and we did get some stuff done.
Yeah, I mean, I could also see them not playing Josh, but running the starters out there a little bit again too.
Yeah.
But they played quite a bit the first preseason game. Didn't play any other than Palmer and Bishop the second game. But there's a lot of guys that need some run, that haven't practiced a lot, fighting for jobs, new to the situation, which is kind of why Palmer was out there, I believe, just because he hadn't suited up for the Bills yet.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a hard time getting a read on what McDermott likes to do. I used to think I knew it, but it's changed a lot the last couple of years.
Yeah.
He's evolved.
Well, when you have the league MVP as your quarterback, you're probably in a different mindset on how you want to handle things. And,
Right.
Allen has said throughout, if he wants me to play, I'll play. If not, it's no big deal. I'm in a good spot. No one doubts he's in a good spot, but there's so many new elements to this Bills offense, especially with those wide receivers. I just don't think it would hurt.
Yeah, I can go either way on it. I'd rather go into the season rusty than hurt.
It seems like they've done that the last few years. Or even maybe, they did not look good against Arizona when they came out last year for week 1. Was it 2 years ago they had the Steelers in week 1? They looked like trash.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe there's something to it.
Yeah, maybe.
According to my father, you have to be a moron not to let your starters play a little bit in the preseason. It was a little conversation we had earlier in the day.
A lot of coaching experience there.
None whatsoever.
All right.
But, 70s, 80s, 90s football.
Dude, we played, you weren't even allowed to drink water during practice.
I know.
So
if you weren't playing well, they cut the water off from you.
you don't get any water till the end. 2-a-days. Go eat a tuna sandwich and come back and run some more.
You had those drills where you were kicking the snot out of your friends and loving every minute of it. I don't think they do much of that anymore, Andy.
Oh, you got your bell rung? No, that's just
Get back in there.
That's the onset of CTE, but head back in.
Get back in there.
Oh.
Well, we'll see, Andy, and this time next week, roster cut down coming up, and that's when the 53-man takes shape.
Yeah, I'll probably do like a written for SpectrumLocalNews.com, a written 53-man roster projection, and see how wrong I am, as usual.
I will gladly point out how wrong you are.
I actually spent some time in Chicago starting to write it. Look at this. I've got it right here. Look at that.
Oh, that's a lock.
Yeah, this is great for video. I'm showing you. Hey, look at this.
And I'm leaning in going.
Yeah.
Right.
So we'll see. There's some spots up there. Defensive line, offensive line, and again, we talked about safety and corner. Where does this all shake out? Wide receivers. You keep 5, 6. He even mentioned 7 today. I don't know that that's out of the realm with Chenault. So
I think with all the questions, that might be what's going down, Andy.
You think they keep Josh Allen?
I think
the cap number's kind of high to cut him.
I think you gotta
his dead cap.
Keep him on the roster at least to start the season. See how things.
His
play
dead
out.
cap's $500 million.
Yeah. And maybe James Cook sits out practice tomorrow. Who knows?
Yeah, it's always
I'm
something.
never going to stop saying that.
Yeah.
College football coming up this weekend. Real football, Andy, now around the corner.
I never know what's going on in college football until all of a sudden I turn it on Saturday. I'm like, oh, crap, college football's on. Let's ride.
That's why I bring it up, because I'm not looking it up. I know college football starts, but I haven't looked really at. I mean, we've been busy with the Bills, obviously, but real football is always exciting when it starts up. It also means the summer's over.
Yeah. And then magically, the first week of school, it's like 65 degrees and rainy.
It's incredible, isn't it?
After it was 80 2 days before. Every year.
My community pool where I live, they're closing the pool Saturday for the rest of the year.
Did you ever go in it at all?
Not this summer.
Yeah.
I got to get in better shape.
Okay.
Come on, man.
Good luck.
You don't want to be out there in a swimsuit. All right, we'll wrap things up, Andy. Again, Bills at the Buccaneers coming up. You'll be down there in Tampa Bay for post-game reaction. And then more than likely we're back to discuss roster cut-down day coming up next week.
I hope for everyone's sake who is subjected to either working or watching that it's a little bit more interesting than it was Saturday, because that was brutal.
I'm with you.
Sunday for the Bears.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was bad.
I'm with you. That was hard to watch.
Yeah.
All right, for Andy Young, I'm Kevin Carroll. Thanks for joining us, everyone, and we will see you again next week.